rather than just doing a really quick exam, are primarily using their brains and their mouths and their ears and to communicate and to be consultants. Lawyers are obviously consultants. They're giving their advice and their services to people. All kinds of things like that. In the legal area, there's just a ton of accountants, people that are working with numbers, financial advisors, and so on. So I think that this course could be useful for that purpose also. I'm going to go back to the slide presentation that I have in just a second. And we're going to just quickly review what we went over last week and then get into specifically this week's. So I'm going to share my screen. And pull up a last week's slide presentation, which I'm just quickly going to go through here just to summarize what we did. We talked about my business timeline and all the different technology changes that I've seen through my 50 years of a career. And you can see it's a lot. And yet, I believe that artificial intelligence used properly will be the most important driver of business change in my career. In other words, what I'm doing, how I manage my environmental business and my life will be most impacted by AI more than it was impacted by all of these other things that preceded it. And these impacted it a lot. So I think AI will impact it even more in a really positive way. These are just quickly the kinds of things we talked about last week broadly. Last week was really introductory. Here's all the things that in a project in environmental you could use it for: research from the front end. How do you determine what you're going to do in your project? Things about the site that you're going to deal with, analysis and framing, reports, proposals, and obviously then on the end of it, project management and learning. So, and I think this is maybe the key idea of this whole first lesson and maybe this whole course, is that AI can probably add value pretty much everywhere, but the value is greatest when it's paired in the context, with context, whatever that context might be, with judgment and with quality control. And right now, you've got to use both the judgment and the quality control, or you will get what is often called garbage in, garbage out in terms of what your information is. Again, I talked about some things, and you don't need to remember these because we're going to go into each one in a little more detail in future lessons. But they're really similar to what the last. But research summaries, template creation, drafting, support, first passes at reports and memos and emails. I think right now it's in many cases got to be first passes. You've got to do the finish work yourself. Training juniors, proposal language juniors, meaning people below you in a corporate organization. Language in a proposal, thoughts, partnership. I think it can do an amazing amount of thinking for you. Meeting support and marketing support. Again, there are things that it does well, and there are things that people still have to do, and they matter more. They're more important. So we created a ladder last week where basically it was everything from starting with experimentation to doing things with repeatable, the term that is used in AI is prompts. I haven't figured team out yet. Mark and I were just talking about that. I just know that I can improve our team and my team and improve what they're able to do work wise and we as a team can do. That one I'm still really working on. Standard workflows, I think that's probably where I've applied it more in my life than anything. And then really overall, just making your firm, your business be better. And these are the rules that you really have to follow. Don't ever put in sensitive information. I see, Mark, that Alicia has raised her hand. If you wouldn't mind just texting her. Alicia, we're not going to talk about any other broad-based environmental stuff today. I think I made it really clear last week. We're going to do this session. At the very end, there's going to be question and answer. But if you want me to go to what trees in the forest or something, we're not going to do that right now. So just so you know. So you really need to make sure we treat AI as a draft and not as a final answer. We need to check on the facts, assumptions, calculations, citations, everything, make sure they're accurate, keep our professional judgment in the loop, and use AI to improve service and not to cut corners. We will have, obviously, at the very end of this, a 10 to 15 minute, and we'll go longer. I'm not at all limited to an hour here if we have more time. So this is what we did last week. We talked about the shift in environmental consulting. Right now, this week, we're going to do AI foundations. What are the really foundational things? Next week, we'll very specifically focus on prompting. I hope to have a guest speaker for next week. If not for next week, it'll be for the following week. And this would be somebody that's been using AI for either prompting a lot or for research and technical support. And then week 5, we'll go into report writing and deliverables. Week 6 into proposals, scopes, and business development. Week 7 into project management. Week 8 into decision support and professional judgment. Week 9 into ethics, confidentiality, and quality control. And week 10 in building a AI-enabled consulting practice, which means it could be you even are selling your AI services. Because I think there's a window here of at least the next 2 to 3 years where there are going to be some people that are very well knowledged and very able to teach how to use AI and to use it. And there are going to be others that need it, but they don't know how to do it at all. So that's something that we'll focus on also. So I gave you a homework assignment, and I understand that a lot of our watching of this is going to be later, and so this is in here because when we teach it to where this is recorded, the same assignment's going to occur at the end of the session. Then we'll go over it, but think about it. At the end of today, I'm going to give another assignment, but hopefully one or more of you is willing to talk about something, one thing that you did, add AI to help with the task in a small, contained way, and then maybe tell a story about it. If nobody else raises their hand to do that, to give the story, then Mark and I will give ours because we've used it a lot and we have our own stories throughout what's happened over the last week. So that's just sort of the questions from last week. So now we're going to switch here, get out of this one and go to my other one. Oops, wrong one. They look alike, which is intentional. By the way, I told you last week, AI did this presentation in terms of composing it, and I went in and edited it. We found some mistakes last week, but everybody, they were minor, unbelievably minor. Today, I made, AI had made this make the definition of economics really small, and I made it just a little bit larger. It actually didn't say session 2. It said something else here. So I went in and changed that. But still, again, not a lot. there is going to be errors that are throughout here. I actually corrected some of the ones that we had, the bulleting from last week. I corrected that. And I'll tell you, you'll see one that there's the footer. When you add a slide, and this has nothing to do with AI, it has to do with Word. I think it has to do with Microsoft PowerPoint. When you add a new slide, I don't think you can modify the footer in the slide and on whatever you've added, because it's adding it in a different way. I'm not sure why, but I wasn't able to change the footer. You're going to see it in a minute here as we go through this. All right, so we're more than 6 minutes in already, sort of as a welcome and what it is as a repeat and review of what we did last week. We are going to talk about it today and show some models. What are the large language models that are used? What some of those strengths and weaknesses of those are, and then how do you choose the right tool for the task? Again, did you do your homework? Now, notice this was one that I copied and I put in here, and I could not, in the editing process, get it to change from session 1 to session 2 down here. I couldn't edit anything on this footer. Interesting. So this was just, again, I've already posed this question. You're going to have another homework question when we get to the end today. So today, we're going to talk about AI foundations for environmental professionals. By the way, little aside before we get into that, and I am not going to render an opinion personally about climate change and what's happened over the last week, but we're going to set records here in the West because there's a high pressure system that I think the best way I heard it described that's sitting over Southern California right now, which is just like the lid on the top of a kettle or a pot. And that pot reaches all the way down to Texas and into Mexico and out into the Pacific, and then all the way up here into the Pacific Northwest. And that pot is holding the top of that pot, that lid is holding heat in. And so we're staying unbelievably warm. Denver set records yesterday for the highest temperatures on that date in history. We set records here in the Boise area. Matter of fact, in Denver, if it reaches 85 degrees today, it'll be the earliest that 85 has ever been reached in history, with the first date that it has in the past 60 days, still 2 months before it's reached 85 in a normal case. So it's very warm, and that's affecting us out here in a good way right now, because we're liking the fact that winter is on the pass, and it's not like ridiculously hot. It's just nice out. So that's generally today. We're going to get a little bit more detail. So these are the three things, the three terms that you want to use when you talk about what AI does. First is it uses different models. That's the high level, right? And that's what are called large language models, and there are small language models. And the difference there is that the large means they're very broad. They'll do a lot of different things. Small language will be ones that are much, much more narrow. And those would be ones that probably are locally created and that are unique to specific individual companies or software developers or so on. So they're not as broad. What's happening very frequently now is companies are developing their own model, that is a combination of these large language models, and it'll allow the user to either choose which of the models that is being used, or it chooses them for you, but it takes advantage of what each of them do better than others. So that's the overview. The next situation is, how do you interface with them? And you interface with them through Windows, usually on your phone, on a laptop, a desktop, and you usually do it through writing or through audio, through speech. Mark was saying today how one of the models that we have and we use, which is one of these that is combining a large language model, and I'm not sure we even know exactly which one they use, and I think that's just because we haven't done that research. And that it's something we're going to show you today called Base 44, and I've talked about it, and it's not a large language model. It is a tool that allows you to talk to it through chat windows, through search bars, through other things, and then it's giving you what you ask it to do. And then the term workflow is used to describe how its work is being done. And interestingly, at least with ChatGPT and Claude, which are the two that I've used more. Claude is a separate company just to be doing AI called Anthropic. It'll actually intentionally, I think, show you what it's doing. It'll tell you it's thinking. And it might sit there and be thinking for X numbers of usually seconds, not even more than a minute typically. And then it'll actually be writing and showing you, oh, I made a mistake here. I need to change this. So I was using ChatGPT to do this. As ChatGPT was creating helping me create the written part of this presentation, it was telling me that as it was creating the Microsoft PowerPoint presentation, this one, that, oh, I made a mistake on slide 8. I need to correct that. The type is the wrong size on slide 4. I need to correct that. Again, I think more than anything, it's to keep the user just sort of knowledgeable that their work's getting done, because there's nothing you can do while it's doing that, but it communicates with you. The workflow is that I was just describing. That's when it's working on whatever it is that you've asked it to deliver it to you. So you have the models, you have interfaces, and you have the workflow. So now, how does it really work? You know what? We're going to go back, by the way, to the specific different models in a little bit here, but I want to finish this one more slide before, because you're going to see we're going to use them. And here's how it really works. It starts with a prompt. So you give it a context, a role, a task, something in terms of instructions for what you want it to do. And it really does matter a lot as to how you tell it to do what it's going to do. And it will be garbage in, garbage out, unfortunately, if you do things improperly. If you ask it to, it'll give you a draft before it goes to something more permanent. But again, you have to ask it to do that. If you want to make sure that you're writing a report, let's say, that you have a chance to change elements of it before it gets too close to being final, you want to make sure that you tell it, don't worry about getting it perfect for me in terms of the way you've written it. Give it to me as a draft so I can see if I need to change other things before you do something that's more complete. And then the most important thing is that you've got to treat it in your mind as a draft until you've really done careful human review. Because if you don't, it is going to be making what could be really bad mistakes when you're in the environmental area that would cause you to reach entirely the wrong conclusions. So now we're going to go back, and I'm going to first ask Mark if there are any questions out there that are relevant.
Oh, no, I don't see questions yet.
Okay. Any comments that are AI and environmental science related, not comments about the desert or the weather or whatever.
Nope, I don't see AI related comments either. So, yeah.
At the very end, we'll get to some of those that are related to the to other topics.
Yes.
Those are important also. But we are recording this, everybody. You're helping us. You're helping us do a course. All right. Anybody turn a homework assignment in, Mark?
No, don't see homework assignment. Yeah.
Okay. And so I hope we'll do that more a little later. So we're going to go now and look at several of these prompting processes and several of the models. So Mark, you pull up, I asked Mark to do this before, pull up OmniSites, and then you
Okay.
start sharing the screen with OmniSites. So I'm going to stop sharing.
All right. So let's see. Share my screen and let me know if you see my screen. So I have OmniSites already up here. So this is one of them.
Yeah, you okay, now you're there. Okay, you weren't showing. Now it is.
Yeah, so this is
Yeah,
one.
we've got to figure out, Mark, move you're blocking a third of the screen with your whatever. So
Yeah,
need to
this
get that
should
moved.
be. Yeah, this should be gone in a second.
Not,
So
it isn't.
it's not right.
And then there's two that are down at the bottom. There's one on the left-hand side and one on the right-hand side.
Okay, so let me try again. Let's see what happens. Share. So is it better now or the same? It's the same. Oh,
It's the same. It's worse now. It seems to move up, and it'll move up even on mine after I've started and gone for 5 seconds. So you just have to be a little patient. Um, but it's just blocking what people can see. I don't know why it
right.
doesn't on
Let
your
me go
computer.
back to application moving. Let me go back to screen again and share it. Now, what is it doing?
I'm gonna stand up for just a second and look at something real quick. Sitting back down. Now it's better, Mark. There is still that. Now, okay, it's gone. I don't know. What did you do? Because you did get rid of the two corners, and
Okay.
the one that's up at the top is just on the bar, so it's not doing anything to the screen.
Yeah, okay. So I shared entire screen. I was sharing the tab before. So maybe
Okay,
this helps. Okay.
yeah, it does. It looks great now. All right, tell them what we did here, Mark, and then we can even go back. So
Yeah.
talk about this.
All right. So this is your greeninfo.com, and we just had to uh select these images, some of the images and the theme, give it a little description, and everything is done by AI. Just click and it designs the whole website. After that, we just have to do some editing. For example, right here, we put Wayne's picture, and we can put whoever we want up here. And then these logos were from different companies, and we had to change these to our own company. For example, you see the Eat Community logo here, and then this is Mountain Sky. This is Rockville Commons, another website that we built with Omni. And we can go to that one too if you want.
Now finish this one. Keep going on this one.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's
So
not confuse. You're almost done.
yeah, so this is the first page. So about us, a little bit info about us, and then you can click on contact forms and get your info.
All right. Tell them
Yeah.
what you had to do here, though.
Okay.
What was so this is a thing that it made a mistake with.
Yeah, so we were struggling with the form, the contact form that came with this website, and we just had to kind of uh switch the form with Kajabi, because we know how to, because we were having trouble retrieving the data from the forms they had. We didn't know how to get the data. And then there was some. Finally, we figured out, but then it wasn't working well, so it wasn't giving us what it was supposed to give us. So we just thought, figured that we can use something that we already use on Kajabi, and we embedded that page as a form here. This is one of the Kajabi contact forms that we're using. We can get data very easily. We could have used another software that we use, which is um, uh, uh, Wufoo, I think. Yeah, it's called Wufoo. Uh, so that is specialized for forms. You can have a lot of different fields. Like if you want to upload uh, images, for example, videos, and things like that, you can do with Wufoo. So this is just simple name, first name, last name, email, and any message you have. Then you click submit, and it gets stored in Kajabi database. So this is one of the things. And then we use another thing, which is Calendly. So Calendly is a scheduling software. And we have talked with Wayne here. So, excuse me, we can use this software for scheduling. So anybody can book a meeting with Wayne. So there are options, duration of meeting 15 minutes, 30 minutes, and 60 minutes. Then you can pick a date and time of your convenience, and then if it works, then we contact you, and you can talk with Wayne on that day and time that you picked. So this is really good for scheduling uh, meetings, and it puts on your calendar. So we're using this too for book book an appointment feature. So you can book an appointment with Wayne and have a conversation, a discussion, or talk about your own business, how to improve it, uh, consultancy.
Yeah. Yeah. And
That
tell them the mistake that it made in this next just these photos here. There was a gallery. It
Yes,
didn't put any in a couple places. And then we put the two that are the same. We'll change that. This, by the way, still has some work that needs to be done, but
yeah,
it's not, but it's almost done. I mean, we've got it pretty close to what we want it to be.
yeah,
We didn't mean to double up that picture. By the way, it also came up with the logo, which is very cool. We bought that site. We wanted to build a site for the domain name, yourgreeninfo.com. And right now, its purpose was just to help us use this software to see what it would do. But long term, we can make it another place to put blog articles, which we think is probably a great idea for it. A place to put any number of different kinds of information, because it's a great domain name. But and it made a great image for us. I mean, look at that cool combination of the name and the logo. Mark, go back up to the top. The other thing that this particular theme, and by the way, these are WordPress themes. So this is you edit this using WordPress. All right. So somebody's crying in the background. What are we saying that's making someone cry? Anyway, click on services and others. You're going to see that it doesn't give you a separate page. It actually just takes you farther down where you've already seen it on the first page.
Right. So services, it takes you to this gallery, photo gallery, and then this part of the page. Where you
That was on the
already
home page also,
also, yeah.
if you recall. So click now on the next one that's up on the top button bar, which would be about us. So I mean, you can just jump to them, but they are also on the original home page.
Yeah.
All right. Now let's show them what Rockville Commons.
Okay. I'll go to the other website that we built. That is Rockville Commons.
Okay. And we're not going to go quickly. We're not going to give them more detail, but this is our new living site. This is our new community, and it's called Rockville Commons, and that's an AI generated picture. It doesn't look like that out there yet. It will. The land looks like that. It doesn't have that exact same type of cactus trees. Those are a type that's only found in Arizona and California, but in Nevada some. But everything else is appropriate. So now, Mark, show them what you would do. Go into the program itself, and we're going to just let's even start to create and show everybody how fast this is to create a website.
All right. So to create a website, you'd click on this is the menu, top menu that has 3 lines, and the dashboard. Once you come to this omnisites.app and /dashboard, it brings you here, and you click on these 3 things, and it brings out all the other options like you can do. So first thing is sites. We already shown you a couple of sites we did, projects. Then you want to create an AI.
Don't go into great detail, Mark, because we're going to run out of time. But
sure. Okay. So quickly, I will just click on create a site.
Yep.
And then here are the steps. So type of business, let's pick one. Let's say
let's go with event.
Restaurant, healthcare.
Let's go with the event. It's right there at the top, Mark. Right there.
All right. Okay.
And let's call it just because it happened yesterday, St. Patrick's Day celebration.
Okay,
let's
so
keep it in English. Okay.
Yes.
And then you just go to next.
Yes. Click on next. Then we got it puts a description by
Now,
itself.
you may want to change that. We're not going to do it, but it's pretty amazing how well it actually does kind of know just by using St. Patrick's Day there of what it is. Which, by the way, St. Patrick's Day is not even really celebrated in Ireland. It is an American tradition. So it's weird. Mark, for some reason, the right side of your screen is covered with something right now. I don't know why. So we're not seeing. We were right up until you got to here. There's a cover over right there down the bottom half of your screen. I don't know why. Anyway, let's just keep going. Scroll down so they can see what it is. Click on next after the details. And you do have to put this info in, and it doesn't have to be totally accurate because you can always change it. So
Yeah, I put in Wayne's email and phone number. Hmm, Secondary, we can just put one.
actually, the number didn't show up, Mark. I don't think you can use it with that way, maybe. Why isn't that going in?
Yeah, it's not, but
Try the fourth one down, see if it goes in there. It's the format. Yeah, you can't use the format that you had there. There. So now you don't need a secondary, and you should put the whole address in. That's only a part of it. So it's Nampa, Idaho also. Put in the next line, Nampa, Idaho. 83687. Okay. Don't worry about the social handles right now. If you had those already, it makes it easy for you to put all those in. So if you click on Facebook, you could put that in.
yeah, if you have Facebook, put the URL.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just.
You don't want to do that because I think if you have that on, it's going to give you an error. Okay, turn it off.
Okay.
And go to next. Keep going, Mark. Now, I would have this done. It would have been done 2 or 3 minutes ago. So I'm just showing you guys you can do this really fast. That's the advantages of these.
Yes.
It's going to have a headline and short. We're not going to look at it. We're going to assume it's right. Okay.
So we got to pick some images.
And you have to have at least 6 landscape and 6 portrait. So you pick any of them, Mark, just because they're all pretty much if it looks those are meetings. So let's not have it be a meeting, have it be a celebration, bunch of people that are together. There's a celebration, that one with the lights, there's a celebration. On the right is a portrait one that's a celebration. That one. There's that cool one with all those lights, and next to there's you already have that one. That one's a celebration.
This one. Go down to this. Yeah. Yeah, St. Patrick's will be like a lot of people.
Now you're probably going to need more portrait types.
Right.
Again, we don't see that side of your screen, Mark, and I know over there on the right is where that normally is. And you can't see it. Mark's blocking it, but I don't know what Mark's computer does, but it blocks it.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna pick. I already have 5 landscapes and 1 portrait.
Gotta have it requires you to have 6 and 7. So you gotta
I'm
have
gonna pick some more. And let's load some more. And we could also pick from Pixabay. We use Pixabay and get it from there. So let's see.
Go over to the right, Mark, and pick portrait. You're not gonna have enough, almost all. So orientation on the right. Farther to the right, you're going the wrong way. Other side, it says orientation.
Okay,
No, no, you picked landscape. We have plenty of landscape.
yeah. I picked portrait and yeah, I can one of these, let's say one of these. And some more.
Pick some from other countries. They look kind of cool.
Okay. Let's see.
That guy sitting there could work. I mean, that could be a celebration because he's in makeup. That one.
So here's
What do
one.
you have now? I can't read it over there, Mark. So you're gonna have to. There's nothing over there. The screen is blocked.
All right. Yeah, I have 8
You can't have
portraits.
more than that's too many. It'll tell you at some point. So you got to follow the instruction. There's a great example, everybody. You got to follow instructions with AI, or it'll just tell you. And people get upset, but they can't because they screw up. You got to do things the right way, and if you don't, it'll tell you either won't tell you or it just won't do it for you. I think it says you can only have X number and you have to have X number, so it doesn't give you much latitude.
All right. So I have 5 and 7. So 5
I think the
landscape,
five's too
7,
low. Got to have
5 too
six.
low.
Doesn't it say you have to have six? I
Okay,
can't
I'll
see
get
it, so I
one.
can't tell you.
All right. Get one more. Yes, it says 6 and 7. So I'll have to get one more for, for landscape. And let's see.
Fireworks are great. We don't have anything like that.
Fireworks, okay.
There's celebration.
Yeah. So now I've got 6 and 7.
Okay.
Let's go to the next step. Arrow, please select 7. Landscape, okay, 6 portraits. All right. Landscape. All right, I got. And
You should have done one that was AI to show how fast that would go. But that's all right. You can make AI images really fast also with this. So
yeah.
all right, now we get to choose what theme we want.
Okay, so next step, we gonna pick a pick theme.
And you can actually, it shows you a bunch, and then if you don't like those, it'll even show you more.
Yeah.
You can click load more options. It usually is pretty smart, so it knows the ones that you probably should try.
So should I pick one or load
Yeah,
more?
you go ahead. You're doing this one, so you pick one. You're not going to have a logo yet. So
Yeah.
there are things that you have to do after you're done. It doesn't matter that you don't have one yet.
Yes, now I can just leave the text and font to
Yeah.
default. And these are default. Light, yeah, colors. Uh, and I can choose custom colors or leave it the way it was. And go to the next step. Okay. Element or content form.
And those are things that you'd use, various purposes.
Yeah. What else? Survey polls. No, we don't need everything, but we do need SEO, e-commerce maybe. What else? Social, yeah,
You want the legal forms, you want them.
yeah. What else? Site optimization, yes.
Yes.
All-in-one accessibility, all this. And then go to the next step. So it is, congratulations, you've got it. Start building your website.
And it won't take long, everybody, because obviously it's done all the work. It's already been showing it to us.
So it's now working on it. Will be a little, okay, so your
There it is.
website is all set.
And it gives you a unique URL, as you can see there, and you can add your own customized. And you basically now have the ability to get in it to edit it. And that's what that password is. And you should let's see the site, and then let's go into it and edit a little, Mark. So you stay on OmniSites to do the editing, but now it's opening this in a different window for Mark, different tab. So why would we use this? Obviously, if we were promoting this event, right? We would have created a website for people to see.
Yes, so if we had an event and we would send the URL, this is what we'll copy the URL and send it to people so that they would come, and then we'd have like call to action buttons for them to give their information. Or we could be selling something, we could be just offering products, services, anything, and have their information, have the credit card, and opt in anything like newsletters. So a bunch of other marketing stuff that you could be doing with the website.
Why don't you give the screen back to me, because we got to hurry a little bit here, and then you go in and look at some of the comments and questions if there are any. But I'm going to just show everybody a little bit more of some of the actual models themselves, which is here. Okay, why am I not? Should get away from I'm hitting escape, and it's not letting me end the show. So right here is Claude. This is one that's made by a company called Anthropic. I actually use another prompt assistant with it called AI PRM, and not something that you have to have. But I think that each of these have specific good features, and some have some that aren't so great. I think Claude is harder to communicate with than ChatGPT is. Notice that you can use the voice mode here and it'll talk to you, and that's pretty cool. ChatGPT does that also. But ChatGPT also allows you just to be able to put a prompt in with voice, and then it'll give you the answer back in writing. And so they almost all have sidebars where you put in whatever projects you had. So let's just see, I'm going to expand on the sidebar and show you that just I've created projects. think about a project as a file because you can put different specific things that you did inside. And I only have one right now for Rockville Commons. And then it created its own for how to use it. I don't know Claude well enough yet to know how to use artifacts. These are chats that I did and did just different things. And so I could look at this one, Google Earth sitemap analysis. I don't even remember what I did on this one. And it's that I ask it, it is my land and it's where my new community, Rockville Commons, will be located. Please give me measurement data. And I was asking it to measure things. So this is pretty cool. And it always sort of praises you first. Oh, what an exciting vision. It could be a terrible vision, and it would probably say that. Like if I said I wanted to do some horrible thing to people, I think it might still say, well, that still sounds meaningful. I'm not sure that it would. I hope it wouldn't. But here's where it's giving me some things that I remember I was saying I want a site analysis of the map. It tells me exactly where it is, latitude and longitude, 25 miles south of Nampa, 4,019 feet above sea level. If I was in Europe, I wouldn't want it to be in the English system or pretty much anywhere else in the world other than the United States and the British Kingdom, just locations. Mark, this is a question because your country came into its independence that long ago. Do you use the English system also, or do you use metric more almost entirely?
No, we use matrix because we used to use mile and pounds and everything before,
Right.
but yes, so government just changed that. So all the other systems, like we used to have other things beside that, which were local measurements. Local meaning you wouldn't find any other place what they were. So and they had some different systems. So our government just abolished everything else and just kept the standard matrix system everywhere. So it was standardized. So everybody used the same system.
Where ago was that?
It was probably in the 90s they did it.
Oh, wow. So it wasn't all the
Yeah.
way back to when you
No.
first got independent.
No, it was way later. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because when I was in school, I was studying all different systems. We had to
Right.
do math in calculations in other systems, but then government just said we use one system and that's standard. And then so we had to
Okay.
do only in matrix. Yes.
Okay. We're running out of time, so I'm going to keep moving here. So I'm showing Claude, there's great information here because one of the things it does is gives very good info about numbers and how to use them. And if you were to do this same search on ChatGPT or Manus, which are two that I also use, Manus is one that Meta has, and ChatGPT is OpenAI's. I'm going to show you both of those in just a second. You wouldn't see nearly as detailed of information as this one gave for a really simple prompt. And I had forgotten that it actually gave me a map up here also. It's not showing it because I've got it too expanded in. So here's the site. It's exactly where it's making it be where it is, and that is the edge of the property actually. And so I could zoom out and then see the whole area that I live in. So I live, try to get both these on at the same time. But scroll a little bit further out. That was too far. I live a tiny bit more, right up here, right off the map, right there. And that's 45 miles using this route down to here. And then farther out is what is broadly called the Boise area. And this would be what would be called Boise. So we're not in the Boise area. This is outside of it, but very close, just a little bit, barely outside of it. So this is Nevada, or excuse me, Oregon over here. And then a little bit further down is Nevada here. And that all came from this simple little prompt. So let's look at a different one. Let's look at Manus. And I've told you before, I hate the fact that it always moves my screen up so high that I can't find it. Here's Manus. I did something today on Manus I had not done on any of these yet, is on the large language models, they actually give you the option to create a website. So I did, and this one is for a business plan that I wrote and a funding plan. And you can see, I told you before that it shows you a number of the things that it's doing. So save notes on the, and I don't know if you can click these and get to it. Maybe you do. You do. That's interesting. I'd never done this. And that was its data. So that's kind of interesting. I had not used this for this in this way before. I think it won't show you this. This would be code up here. So it was going to take it to the top. Here's, oh, I'm not even there yet. Here. Please build a website based on the funding deal structure analysis. And that was what I had originally asked it to do. And I've said this before, one of the amazing abilities of AI, and I think Manus is really strong at it, is creating charts and graphs and infographics that would take you hours, if not many, many hours to do with data that you have. And this is just an example of it. And I now put it into a website also. Now it needs some editing. Like this should be a picture of me here rather than this lady, because it's supposed to be describing for the people. And here's these graphs that it does that are just amazing. And again, that's showing that just as because I'm hovering in different places on it. Here's the returns that it gives. Now this, it's kind of jumbling up some of so this is year 1, year 2, year 3, and it's supposed to show the equity below it also. That is a change that I would make before I publish this. So this actually has been published, so I can open it. I think it did it right here. I think that's it. Yeah, there it is. There it is in a bigger way. So we're at the top of the hour. I want to finish up with ChatGPT. Oh man, it's also writes great website. Excuse me, Great Business Plans. Sorry. But ChatGPT has gotten better. And one of the things it does really well is logic. So I created the logic for this whole presentation and what I should be doing and how I should break it up into different sections. And I told you it made these presentations that I used for this, and I would use on all kinds of webinars now on in my Microsoft PowerPoint. And so we're going to end by going back to my presentation here on PowerPoint. And that's the first one. So we're going to go to this one and begin here and go to the next slide. So here's the language. We've talked about this. We're going to go a little bit over today. It actually creates what are called chat assistants, it being these large language models. And they're what are doing the real thinking. They're the inside the computer are doing the thinking. It then prepares information, uses tools, it searches and synthesizes. Then it moves to writing. Then, if you've asked for it, it moves to images. And then, if you ask for it, it'll make it into spreadsheets or charts or other things that you need. As it says here, most firms will use it for more than one category. But the mistake is that if one tool will not do everything well, so usually you have to have a tool separately to be a chat assistant, a separate search and synthesis. Now, as time goes on, these models are getting broader and broader. We talked about this the first time, so I was not going to go into a lot of detail, but you can't give it too much information. As a matter of fact, the more information that it has, the better job it does. It does make first drafts for you. It writes with really good clarity and tone, yours usually, once it gets to know you. It compares options and organizes pros and cons of things really well. It'll take really rough notes and turn it into much cleaner and better communication if you want it to. And it'll really help you think through unfamiliar problems. And here's where it fails. It can't invent sources, it can really screw that up. It may miss the newest rules or local specifics in areas. And it can, sound certain when it really is wrong. I thought I had caught it, Mark, but I didn't go in and get rid of these bullets. I did it on another page, these separate ones, the extra ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this one is still double.
So the key is you really want to match the tool to the task. So here's examples. A best AI mode is a search and synthesis for a background scan, if you were doing that. And you got to watch the citations. If you're using a chat assistant, a writing tool, that's great at writing emails or memos. And you need to check the tone and facts. Chat assistant, so on. Again, you just need to make sure you're using the right one. So here's the way to do it. You begin with a simple task. You build a prompt. You review the draft that it gives you. You save what works, and you only share what you really feel good about after you've read it. So here's your little homework assignment for next week. We've already shown you, Mark and I, what we've done one little bit. So I'd love to have you get one done. So it's just really not much different than the first week, but now it says use a tool on some low risk assignment, such as an outline, a summary, or a draft email. Don't use confidential material. Pay attention to where it saves you time, where it needs correction, what kind of improvements, and let's bring back an example for next week. So we ran a little bit over and we didn't really get to a lot of questions. So I do want to get to that now. what do we have from the audience, Mark, that or doesn't have to be at all related to AI that we can talk about?
So let's see. The world's topsoil is vanishing. Can we save it?
I think we absolutely can. Will we? We'll have to see. That's up to, I think people like Alan Savory and Joel Salatin and Will Harris and others have shown that we can save soil. Biological communities will grow very quickly if we give them a chance. So absolutely we can, but it's going to be in our hands to have to do it.
All right. So here's one. Hypoxia cascades. How one low oxygen zone triggers a whole watershed chain reaction.
There a question there? Or is that just a comment?
Yeah, I guess she wants to know how it works. I think that's what she's asking.
How much what?
How it triggers a whole watershed chain reaction. The hypoxia cascades. The low oxygen zone.
Don't know.
Okay.
That one, I have no idea. Great question. I ask some expert on that.
All right. Okay. So rest of them are comments and some links to websites, great resources. So I don't see any other questions.
Awesome. All right. Well, next week we'll continue. We're going to go to prompts next week and very specifically talk about prompts. So, a good one. Wait, back up. We have a great speaker tomorrow.
Yes.
Tell us about Aaron. You're the one who actually got him for us, Mark, and you're somebody that knows him. So tell us about Aaron.
Yeah, so Aaron is a science educator and a secular humanist. So he'll talk about dinosaurs even. So the things I talked with him before, and he says he's a paleontologist, and he will just he got into this because his fascination with dinosaurs. And I said, cool, give us a talk on dinosaurs. That's great. So he'll mostly talk about science and humanism, secularism. All those things are that he generally speaks about. Yeah.
Well, I think he's got a very strong opinion, which I love it. I just think it's great for people to have strong opinions. So
right. Yep, I think it's going to be fun. We'll have a good time. Yeah.
And that's it. 3 tomorrow. No, 2. Is that right?
2 tomorrow.
2
yes.
tomorrow.
2
2 mountain time. All right.
Correct. Yep.
Sounds good. And last week we had an awesome one on Friday also with Colin Lennox, and we're going to have Colin come back for us, and it'll probably be several weeks, if not months. But let's get more speakers if you guys know anybody that you want to recommend to us. All right. Thanks, everybody.